Hi guys, it's Jess and welcome back to my booktube channel. Today I'm so excited to talk about my favorite contemporary romance books of 2023. I did not read as much contemporary romance books as I did fantasy romance books, but I think I was pretty lucky that I was able to really enjoy a lot of the books that I read, and I'm super excited to talk to you guys about these books. There are a good number of indie and traditionally published books, and like in my previous video, I want to highlight the indie books because I feel like they deserve all the love and all the hype as traditionally published books. So without further ado, let's get into the romance books. The first book that I love and recommend is Whistleblower by Kate Cove. I do want to put a disclaimer that this is more darker, has more suspenseful themes, so if you're looking for a fluffy, feel-good type of book, I would not recommend this one. But if you do want to venture into this darker territory of romance books, I would recommend this one. Overall, this was a heart-racing and thrilling book. In this book, we follow Eden, and she is a leadership consultant. In her previous role, she was known as a whistleblower. Because of this, the government seeks her out in a new role to put together an organization of assassins. Within this new role, she's tasked to make the organization more efficient, more put together, and we see her in a forced proximity type of relationship with Link. And Link is an assassin. He's one of the most lethal and feared assassins. He has a tough and hard and brooding exterior, but as you find out, he has a soft spot for Eden. If you love a heart-racing, thriller-esque book with a plot that, will have you on your toes, I would highly recommend Whistleblower. The romance between Eden and Link is so good. You see their relationship form over, being reluctant sort of allies to friends and ultimately to lovers. And there is such a good touch her and you die scene in here. I love Link. He's such a great male main character and love interest. This is also my first book by Kate Cove, and it will not be the last one. I absolutely devoured this. I read this in one day because I could not put it down. This is a standalone in the Paladin series, and I believe each book will be standalones in an interconnected series. It has such a great premise of assassins, of a leadership consultant. Like, I've never read a romance book like this before, and I can't wait to read more of Kate Cove's books and the rest of the series. The next book that I love is Alive at Night by Amelie Reese. This is a debut novel filled with so many of my favorite tropes: enemies to lovers, forced proximity, best friend's brother, sweet to spice. I absolutely love this one. This book follows Juniper, who is an attorney who finds out on her first day of work, her coworker, who will literally be working across from her, is her best friend's brother. You find out from past to present point of views their relationship is quite fiery. Basically, they're enemies to eventual lovers, but over time, their relationship has not been the best. They have a lot of bickering, a lot of tension between them, and it comes to a culmination when one day Juniper asks Julian's help to be her fake date to her sister's wedding. The tension in here is so good. We have a one bed scene, we have fake dating, we have It's Always Been You. I seriously ate this book up. So if you want a feel-good, always been you romance book filled with so much tension and so much spice, I highly, highly, highly recommend you check out Alive at Night. This is available on Kindle Unlimited, and like I said, this is the author's debut novel, so go ahead and give this book some love. Next book that I love is from one of my auto-buy authors, and anything that she writes, I will read. So it's no surprise that King of Greed by Anna Wong is one of my favorite contemporary romance books of 2023. This is book 3 of the Kings of Sin series, which are standalones in an interconnected series. This is actually my favorite book within this series, but honestly, I feel like Anna Wong's writing gets better and better with each book. Take with that what you will. basically I'm saying read Anna Wong's books. King of Greed follows Dominic, who is a CEO and billionaire, one of the highest ranking ones within Wall Street, and it follows him and his wife Alessandra. We see in the book that their marriage is not as perfect as it may seem. Their marriage has basically been in ruins and in shambles, and eventually Alessandra comes to the realization that she doesn't want to be married to Dominic anymore. So throughout the book, Dominic is the perfect groveling male love interest. He's trying to win her back. So you see from past and present perspectives how the relationship was built, how they fell in love, and how they fell out of love. I absolutely love this one. I always love marriage in ruins books. I don't know if it's because now I'm married and I see just like how deeper of a love that you can have for someone, but this one was so heartbreakingly beautiful. Reading the past perspectives of Alessandra and Dominic was so heartbreaking. The extent that Dominic was willing to go to prove his love to Alessandra, to win her back, to save their marriage was also just everything. I think he's one of my favorite love interests by Anna Wong. He's definitely up there with Reese. But Reese is hard to top. Reese will always be my number one. Don't have to read the books in consecutive order. You can totally read them in however order you want. You can go straight into King of Greed. I will say that you will have some characters from the previous book show up, but there's nothing plot-wise that you need to know before diving into this one. So highly recommend this one. Love this series. Love Anna Wong. The next book is also from another autobi author, and it is Blockshot by Kennedy Ryan. Kennedy Ryan writes such beautifully poignant and heartbreaking romance books. They're so realistic, they're steeped in so much grief, explorations of womanhood, of romance, of heartbreak. Her books are literally so stunning and so heartbreaking, but I will eat them up every time. Blockshot is the second book in the Hoop series, and they are all standalones within an interconnected series. The first one, Longshot, was so heavy, had so many just dark themes. Definitely check out the trigger warnings before reading that. And while I did love that, I rated it 5 out of 5 stars. I feel like Blockshot was one that really resonated with me a lot more. I don't know if you can tell, but I tapped the heck out of this book. Blockshot follows two sports agents, Banner Morales and Jared Foster. Banner and Jared are friends in college and they have a one-night stand. But this one-night stand ends disastrously and they eventually stop being friends for a really long time. One fateful day, their paths cross once again when they're both professionally and established sports agents. Navigating that realm is pretty much very cutthroat, man eats man, but as their paths cross, they realize that they still have an attraction, they still have a connection with each other. I know a lot of people hate on this book because there is a trope that not a lot of people like. I personally don't like it, but I thought that the way Kennedy Ryan wrote this with such respect and with such care, it's very complex. There's a lot of nuance to it, but I feel like it was so essential for the story and for the development of Banner as a person, as a woman, trying to make a name for herself, trying to be the woman that she's always wanted to be, essentially. Kennedy Ryan continues to amaze me with each book, and I can't wait to read the third book in the Hoop series. As with all of her books, I'm super excited to get into them in 2024, but if you do want to read Blockshot, I highly recommend this one. Second to last book that I loved and highly recommend is Heartless by Elsie Silver. This is the second book in the Chestnut Spring series, which is a cowboy romance, and they're all standalones within an interconnected series. I absolutely love the Chestnut Spring series, and it really solidified my love for cowboy romance books because, girl, cowboy romance books are next level. Heartless is a single dad slash nanny grumpy sunshine romance book, and I didn't realize how much I loved the single dad romance trope until this book. Heartless follows Willa, who takes on a nanny role for Cade Eaton. He is the eldest brother of the Eaton boys within Chestnut Spring series, and within this role she realizes that she has an attraction for Cade. He is much older than her. There is an age gap trope, so she is a bit hesitant about wanting to pursue a relationship with him. But throughout the book, they realize they can't deny the attraction, the feelings that they have for each other. Willa is so badass, feisty, and confident, and she is basically what Cade needs in his life at that time. You see the love that she has for his son, and she's just so real and so herself that obviously Cade can't fight his attraction and his ultimate love for her. The romance in here was it's chef's kiss. Absolutely loved it. The tension, the spice, like this might be my favorite book within the Chestnut Spring series. If you want to get into cowboy romance books, highly recommend this series. They're all great, but I just obviously have a soft spot for the single dad trope. So yeah, I highly recommend Heartless, highly recommend this series as a whole. And the last book that I want to talk about is Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. Archer's Voice is a small town friends to lovers romance book, and it deals with a lot of emotional and heartbreaking themes. The story follows Bree, who moves to a small town in order to forget and move on from a traumatic event that has happened in her life. Within this small town, trying to create a new life for herself, she meets Archer. Archer is mute and doesn't have a lot of people in his life. Bree sees how the town treats him, basically like an outsider and as an outcast. Archer has a traumatic past as well. So they're both able to form a connection and ultimately a relationship around finding comfort and finding solace in one another. Archer is a cinnamon roll MMC, and he is so kind and so caring for Bree. And it makes me so sad thinking about all of the things that he has been through, all the things that this town continues to do to him. And yeah, I absolutely cried reading this book, and there are certain scenes that I just did not see coming, especially in the end, that I literally wanted to throw my book at the wall. I finished this at 2 a.m. because I could not put it down, and because the ending, once you get to like the last half of the book, your heart is racing, you're flying through the book, you're trying to just get to a good place where the characters are happy. And I will say that it is a happy ending, but it takes such a long and torturous time to get there. I really think that the slow burn and the build-up is worth it because you see how much the characters have gone through and how much they still have to go through to get to a good place, to get to a happy ending. And I feel like that makes this book all the more realistic and all the more heartwarming. So if you want a small town romance book with lots of emotion and cinnamon roll male main character, beautiful romance, I highly recommend this book. So that's all of my favorite contemporary romance books of 2023. I rated these either 5 stars or infinity stars because I absolutely loved all of them. As I mentioned, they are either standalones or standalones within an interconnected series, so it makes them super easy to read. Make sure to save these books for your TBR and let me know if you read them or if you've read these already before. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you're able to find some good books for your TBR, and happy reading!